Hey, how's it going, fam? Welcome back to the channel. Now, I gotta share something with you guys. When I decided I want to use this platform to share my opinions about what's going on in the country and in the world in general, I had no idea how tough it would be. By the time I decide what I want to talk about and do my research, something even more ridiculous happens, like this right here, what's going on now. Now, I promise you, I'm going to talk about this stuff in a later video, but I have to do this one today because time is running short, and you'll see why a little bit later on. So near the end of my last video, I kind of stood up proudly to show my I voted sticker because we got out on the last day of early voting here in Texas, and we were very encouraged by what happened when we did. Now, on a Texas primary, you have to announce which party you're voting for, either the Democrat or the Republican side, because you're picking candidates for those parties. This is not a general election. And so if you say you're on the Democratic side, if you vote in Democrat, they'll send you to the blue side. If you say you vote Republican, they'll send you to the red side. Well, I'm going to tell you, at the polling location I went to, there was way more activity on the blue side than on the red side. Now, that might have something to do with the two candidates we have at the top of the ballots. They're gaining a whole lot of national attention, and a lot of people are very excited about that. But there were a lot of other offices below on that exact same ballot. Now, I thought I had done plenty of research about all the candidates on the ballot, but some of them I didn't really pay that much attention to, like railroad commissioner or comptroller and stuff like that. But who really cares about those office positions, right? Well, it turns out I should have. And that's what I want to talk about today, because you really need to know who this guy is right here. This is Don Huffines. Now, if you live in Texas, you probably see more political ads for this guy than you have for anybody running for Senate, governor, or any other position. This guy is getting a lot of money spent for him or by him. I don't know which one it is, but it's way more political ads showing him than anybody else. So what is he running for? He is running for state comptroller. Now, if you already know what a comptroller does, you are way ahead of where I was when I did my voting last week. I wish I had done more research about it, but I wrote some things down because if you don't already know, you really need to know what a comptroller does. Now, the easiest way for me to describe it is basically the comptroller is the accountant and the bank president of the entire state. He tells the state government, this is how much money y'all have to spend. He also chooses where to invest the state's funds. Now in Texas, that's over $150 billion that he can send wherever he decides to invest that money. And he gets to award grants to certain public organizations like law enforcement, ambulance services, and immigration enforcement, which has been in the news a lot lately. So let me give you a few reasons why I think he is terrible for this position. And it's not because he looks like Mr. Mxyzptlk, the Superman villain. I don't know if y'all grew up with that or not, but he looks a lot like Mr. Mxyzptlk when he's smiling. So, but that's not the reason why. I just had to share that though, because that's one of the first things I noticed. But that's not one of the reasons why I think this guy would be a terrible choice to be the next comptroller for Texas. I'm going to use his own words. This is taken directly from his website. Don Huffines says he wants to eliminate woke ideology. Now, of course, woke is just a word that they like to use. It's a buzzword on the conservative side, and they probably don't even really know what it means. But that's not even his job. That has nothing to do with being a bank president or the accountant for the state. He wants to eliminate woke ideology. He brags on his website that when he was a state representative, he eliminated a taxpayer-funded transgender website. Now, what was this taxpayer-funded transgender website? It was a mental health resource for LGBTQ youth. That's all it was. It wasn't some indoctrinating program that he's trying to convince you it's all about, some nefarious program to pull our kids and force them to become transgender. I don't know how long they're gonna push that ridiculous uh, political line, but that's not what it was. But he's proud of that. He shut down a website that was meant to help kids with their mental health. He also says he wants to eliminate all taxpayer benefits for the children of illegal aliens. Now, first of all, that is a terrible term. By now, you should be using the term undocumented immigrants, but of course, that's what they're going to be using on his website, illegal aliens. One of the programs he want to make sure he prevents illegal aliens or undocumented immigrants from participating in is the public school program. It seems the goal of making sure as many people are as uneducated as possible is still being pushed on the conservative side. Now, he brags about the importance of Christian values in his life, but this is what he's pushing for, to make sure little kids can't go to school. But I discussed that a little bit in my last video. Now, the final reason, there's plenty of reasons why this is not a very good person. He's talking about using Doge in Texas and stuff like that, and supports everything that Trump does, all that kind of. There's plenty of reasons, but the final reason I want to share with you guys is that his family bought a ranch in New Mexico. No big deal, right? Guess who the previous owner of that ranch was? I am not lying. Look it up for yourself. Don Huffines, the man who's running for Texas comptroller, bought the ranch in New Mexico that was previously owned by Jeffrey Epstein. Now, the people in New Mexico have been wanting to get onto this ranch to dig it up because they believe there may be some evidence buried on this ranch. I'm gonna try to give him the benefit of the doubt. Don Huffines says that once everything is settled, he's going to allow them on there to do whatever kind of excavating he needs. We're going to just have to see how that turns out. But that is a humongous red flag for me. Now, the reason why I want to share that with you guys today is because tomorrow, March the 3rd, is the actual primary day. We did early voting, but the actual voting day, the regular voting day, is tomorrow, March the 3rd. And so if you live in the state of Texas, you have not voted early voting, and you get out tomorrow, don't just skip the comptroller line like I did. Make sure you go ahead and pick a name. Now, the most likely candidate on the Democratic side is Miss Sarah Eckhart. I've done a little bit of research into her, and she looks like somebody who's going to do a good nonpartisan job. I wish there was a nonpartisan candidate on both sides. Hopefully one of them would win. That way I feel more comfortable about it. But it looks like Don Huffines is going to be the Republican nominee for comptroller, and most likely Sarah Eckhart is going to be the Democratic nominee for comptroller. I am going to be getting out and volunteering for Sarah Eckhart. I know there's a whole lot of other spaces. I'll be doing what I can for those candidates too. But for some reason, this looks like a money grab. He's been endorsed by everybody but Greg Abbott because he ran against Greg Abbott for governor a while back. But Trump, Ted Cruz, even Charlie Kirk endorsed him before he died. So that's just indicators for me about how they feel about the importance of having this person in charge of the money, because I think he's going to overstep his bounds and do a whole lot more that the actual position does not really allow for him to do. And that's all I have for today, fam. A bit of a shorter video and stuff. I'm going to be talking about all the craziness that's going on, but that's going to be in a future video. So until then, I just want to remind you guys that you've been listening to Don's voice. Your vote is your voice. Don't be silenced. See you guys in the next video.